Welcome to Burning Bright, a weekly podcast presenting poetry and prose from Passager. June is the month that marks the height of kitten season, when large litters of kittens are born and often end up in animal shelters. That may be why someone designated June Adopt a Cat Month. So for this episode, cats. Carol Clark Williams said that while she was under anesthesia for some surgery, the surgeon also performed a total hysterectomy and appendectomy against her pre-surgical wishes. She said that when it came time to spay her kitten, the advice was the same. Just do it, standard operating procedure. She said her poem, Spaying the Kitten, S.O.P., contemplates society's attitude toward controlling female bodies. To prevent the risks of pregnancy, uterine and breast cancers, I am advised to let them cut her where her purr begins. It will be a small incision because she is small. She will stay overnight, hurt, in a strange place, and come home with what is female removed. I too have been cut vertically with something like a chainsaw, judging by the scar, and everything removed, though there was no sign of cancer. An ovarian does not usually occur in the appendix, which was also taken. I hold her, trusting, in my hands, and rub her stomach where her purr begins. My own gut flinches with a cold, collapsing pain. Carol Clark Williams' poem, Spaying the Kitten, S.O.P., from Passager, issue 74, the trauma issue. Claire Kahane said that her essay, Cats Go for Your Throat, was the seed out of which her memoir 9 Lives grew. Here are a couple excerpts. Cats go for your throat while you're sleeping. Who was it that told me that old country superstition? My mother, no doubt, she who often whispered magical forewarnings into my defenseless young ears, who terrified me as a child with her explosive rages and secret knowledge. Cats go for your throat! A threat never forgotten in my timorous young mind, for there was such a creature that might go for my throat. A striped gray tabby, with cold green eyes, always slinking, tail up, head down, lurking around the corners of the dilapidated gray clapboard house, where Tanta, the aunt and keeper of the cat, lived. An ancient and forbidding figure, Tanta seemed to me then, with her pointy nose and her steel-gray hair pulled back into a bun at the back of her head, her long, full black skirt almost touching the floor, worn gray slippers peeking out from under the hem, her almost toothless grin deepening the lines in her withered face. Clara, you know you're going to stay here a few days. Like I told you, I have to go to the hospital to have the baby. Daddy has to work. Tante is taking care of you until I get back home. So listen to her. Be a good girl. A moment of blankness, then dread. Alone with Tanta in that big house. And the cat. So now let's go upstairs and you'll see where you're sleeping. My mother takes my hand and we follow Tante up the narrow staircase. And there, at the top of the stairs, stands the cat. Tail twitching, eyes narrowed, watching, waiting. A scream tears from my throat. I pull on my mother's arm, crying, "No, no!" while my mother and Tanta try to calm me. In the interstices of memory are flashes. Staircase, cat, my mother's fierce brow, Tante with her full black skirt and her pointy nose, intermingled with pictures from my library book of fairy tales. And always the witch, terror embodied in the cat at the top of the stairs, waiting to go for my throat. Excerpt from Claire Kahane's memoir, Cats Go for Your Throat, also from Passager's trauma issue. And speaking of cats, according to the Humane Society of Utah, when you hold a purring cat, your body releases positive endorphins, which are basically happy chemicals for your brain. This can improve mental health and reduce stress, which means you are less at risk for stress-related medical complications. That may be true for some people, but when I hold a purring cat, my eyes swell shut and I start sneezing. Kathleen Cohen said, "It's a wonder to see how young children learn to conceptualize the world, in this case concerning power, agency, and self-definition." She said, "I thought of Genesis and the naming of creatures with a modern twist." Here's Kathleen's poem, Naming. My daughter and her wife rescued a tomcat to companion the sweet, aged female who prowls through their house. Eli, our grandchild, age 4, named the cat Samuel, then declared it a girl. Lately we've been crawling beside the felines, comparing their underbellies with reference photos. But Eli insists, as if enlightened in a dream. He says, "Samuel will tell us she's a girl when she's older." Kathleen Cohen's poem, Naming, from Passager's 2020 Poetry Contest issue. To subscribe to or learn more about Passager and its commitment to writers over 50, go to PassagerBooks.com. You can download Burning Bright from Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, and various other podcast apps. For Kendra, Mary, Christine, Roseanne, and the rest of the Passager staff, I'm John Shore.